Pablo Picasso. In my presentation, I will show how Picasso experimented with different forms of cubism to portray reality. Picasso was born on 1881 in Malaga, Spain, and was immediately introduced to art by being surrounded with paintings created by his father, Jose Ruiz Blasco. He started taking artistic direction by his father when he was 8 years old. When he reached 13, his father decided to stop painting because he believed that his son's talent had gone beyond his own. By age 15, he was accepted into the School of Fine Arts and was considered a prodigy. Picasso made his first trip to Paris in 1900, where he became good friends with André Breton, founder of Surrealism, and Gertrude Stein, a famous writer and artist. After his early work during the Blue period from 1901 to 1904, and the Rose period from 1904 to 1906, he transitioned into the Cubism period in 1909. Cubism is when perspective with a single viewpoint is abandoned and made of simple geometric shapes, interlocking planes, and collages. Picasso used sharp lines that he observed from other painters to form geometric shapes rather than depth. He used this style to form his shapes after primitive art like African. Picasso, along with George Braque, created Cubism and worked side by side in his studio for 3 years. Later in the 1930s, colors and patterns became more apparent in his Cubism pieces by using his mistress Marie-Therese Walter from 1927 to 1937. The Young Ladies of Avignon, 1907. This was done before the Cubism period, but Picasso was influenced by African artifacts which were used in the transition into his analytical Cubism period. Here you see he uses different viewpoints, which become one of his main characteristics in Cubism. The Dream of 1932 is an oil painting. It is one of Picasso's later works in curved linear Cubism, which means it is Cubism that is formed or enclosed by curved lines. This is his mistress Marie-Therese Walter. When you look at this, you notice a woman sleeping. It feels soothing, restful, and it has a natural fluidity to it. The curved linear Cubism creates the flow of the picture, which then portrays a restful quality, and that produces a soothingness to it. The wholenesses contained in every part can relate to this because with all these things put together, it creates the full dreaming quality to the picture. Repetition in shapes and colors are really important in this. There are recurring shapes throughout the entire piece. In the face, the neck, the shoulders, her arms, the breasts, the chair. In addition, there are repetitive shapes on the wall. The colors, red and yellow, the yellow goldish, appear many times on the chair. Her arms, the necklace, her hair, her lips. You can see it corresponds throughout basically the whole picture. And there's a sense of contrast with the dark green background, and it makes everything else stand out more. Next slide. Seated Woman with Wristwatch, 1932. You get a sense that this picture is disjointed or broken up. What this picture does is that it makes us try to figure out where to look and find the order arranged by the shapes and colors. By observing closely, you can point out different points of views. You can see that there's a view, side view going this way, but also at the same time there's a front view. There's another eye here for this front view, and this shape right here, that's a hand going like this. And by the armchair, you can see there's 2 points of view from the side, and then there's the back, it's going that way. And also from the breasts, you can see there's 2 points of view going each way. They are more geometrical, the shapes are more geometrical as opposed to curvilinear. There is a front view and a side view of each shape. There are different patterns on the chair and the woman's chest. You have a feeling of unity and diversity because the arrangement of the shapes and the colors. It helps you understand the two different points of views that Picasso created. Girl Before a Mirror, 1932. As you noticed in the previous slide, there is the same usage of dual perspective, except here you see more elaborate patterns and more flattened picture plane. Compared to the last one, it doesn't pop out as much. Woman with a Book, 1932. Here Picasso creates incredible contrast. The deep black outside shows us it is nighttime, while there is a powerful bright light on the inside. He also uses dramatic colors and curving lines of the body, her dress, and the chair. He uses those to portray the situation of what's going on. You get a feeling that the woman was reading this book and she felt inspired and she just started daydreaming. You also want to know, like, what is she thinking? I mean, what made her inspired from the book? The Red Armchair, 1933. It shows yet another dual perspective. Similar to women with a wristwatch, this makes your eye to try to relate the different shapes to the corresponding faces. You get a sense that this woman is more dignified and content compared to the other woman we saw earlier. He did this by the use of colors, shapes, and the way he created the face. If you take a look and see, the curving lines bring out unique qualities such as a moon. The curving shape next to the face, as well as both arms, both look like crescent moon shapes. The curving, there is a pleasant balance of light and dark colors that makes you look more at the whole of the picture than just individual pieces of the picture. Weeping Woman, 1937. This was done during the Spanish Civil War and is a symbol of shock, despair, and suffering. It portrays a huge amount of emotion. It is very powerful and represents an artistic statement against war. The power is shown in her cubist and abstract face, where the color is a cool metal shade. Picasso did an interesting thing where he created the women's fingers clustered together in a diamond-like shape, and at the same time her tears are her fingernails, if you look closely. Next slide. Portrait of Marie Therese, 1937. It appears in her clothes and hat that she looks wealthy. You get a sense that she's a high-class woman and she's well-bred by the way she sits upright and the looks of her fancy clothes. She looks contemplative. The colors are very vibrant, and Picasso uses the element of lines to make them stand out. Shapes are very simple, and this picture portrays a flatness to it. So, Seated Woman in Front of a Window, 1937. If you look closely at the face, it portrays a woman and a man. Here, it looks like it's more manly of the way the nose is shaped. And over here, it looks more feminish. Shapes are important in this. It looks like as if the woman is made up of fruits. Part of her hands look like bananas. Her arm is made up of an orange and cantaloupe. And the hat on her head sort of reminds you of grapes. This is a fun piece. Everything is playful and imaginative in the way he used the colors and shapes. Portrait of Maya, 1938. This piece is childlike and playful in the way he created the patterns on her dress. The background is clean and it's not complicated, and the overall picture is very simple and decorative. These past few slides are from rather a happy period in his life. Pictures are not overly negative or violent. In conclusion, Picasso was an artist who created his pieces without even knowing himself what they fully meant. He once said, quote, "A painting comes to me from afar. Who knows how far? I divined it. I saw it. I did it. But even so the next day, I cannot see what I have done myself. How can anyone penetrate my dreams, my instincts, my desires, my thoughts, which have taken so long to develop and to see the light of day, and comprehend what I have put into it, perhaps even against my will? I believe," unquote, "I believe that Picasso's work can relate to the SCI principle, life is found in layers. There are two layers, the outer and the inner. On the outer layer, you have a general idea and feeling of what's going on, but on the inner layer, you get a deeper understanding and appreciation of what exactly he wanted to show in each picture. And I feel like that's important."
All right, 10:45.
Great.
Yay.
Sounds good. Okay, comments?
Interesting pictures.
Yeah. There's a lot of pictures with chairs in them.
Yeah.
I felt like you were doing like Picasso's chair series.
Raph, can you get off and just set it up?
The intro was a little like fast. I could not really like follow too much, but like the rest, it was just like really clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there was like a little contrast there.
Yeah, snap back in.
Yeah, I'll put it right now.